The amazing story of Sundar Pichai from a small house in India to leading Google introduction. This is the true story of a boy who was born poor but became one of the most powerful people in the world. His name is Sundar Pichai, and today he is the boss of Google and Alphabet, two huge companies that billions of people use every day. This story will show you that it doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is how hard you work and how much you want to learn. If you ever feel like giving up, remember Sundar's story. It will give you hope and strength. Chapter 1. A poor boy's beginning in 1972. A baby boy was born in Chennai, India. His full name was Pichai Sundarajan, but everyone calls him Sundar Pichai now. His family was very poor. His father worked as an engineer fixing electrical things. His mother was a typist who stopped working to take care of her children. They lived in a tiny house with only 2 rooms. The whole family slept in one room at night. During the day, they used the same room. For eating and sitting, they had no TV, no fridge, and no car. They rode a small motorcycle called a scooter. In summer, their house was very hot because they had only one fan. But they were happy because they loved each other. A curious child, Sundar was always asking questions. He wanted to know how things worked. How does a phone work? How does electricity move? How are machines built? His father always answered his questions patiently. When Sundar was 12 years old, his family got their first telephone. It was an old phone where you had to turn a dial to call someone. Something amazing happened. Sundar could remember every phone number after calling it just once. His family knew then that Sundar was special. School days, Sundar went to a regular school called Jawahar Vidyalaya. It wasn't a fancy school, but it had good teachers. Sundar loved math and science. He was very quiet and shy, but he always got the best grades in his class. He didn't have expensive books or special classes. He borrowed books from friends and worked much harder than other students. He never wasted time playing around. He loved learning just for the fun of it. Later, he went to a school inside IIT Madras campus where he saw very smart students and teachers. This made him dream. One day, I want to go to a big college too. Chapter 2. Getting into IIT after many years of hard work and studying late into the night, Sundar got accepted to IIT Kharagpur. This is one of the best engineering colleges in India. His whole family was so proud and happy. Think about it. A shy boy from a tiny house with no air conditioning or computer was now going to study with the smartest students in the country. But life didn't become easy. It became even harder. Chindaroji Sudar studied metallurgical engineering, the science of metals and materials. You might ask, why not computer science? The truth is, Sundar's family couldn't afford computers. He had never even touched a real computer before, but he was curious. He listened carefully to everything. He spent hours in the computer labs watching how computers worked. He read books that other students ignored, while his classmates came from rich families and spoke perfect English. Sundar was still learning. Did he feel bad about this? Yes. Did he give up? Never. He didn't talk much, but he listened more than anyone else. He didn't try to compete with others. He competed with himself. While other students partied, Sundar read books and solved problems. His teachers noticed that he was special. One teacher said, Sundar Pichai is one of the most promising students I've ever seen. Chapter 3. The dream of American, his final year at IIT, Sundar applied to study in America. He wanted to get a master's degree from Stanford University, one of the best universities in the world, and he got accepted. But there was a big problem, money. A plane ticket from India to America cost $1,000, which was more than his father earned in a whole year. His family had no credit cards, no savings, and no rich relatives to help. What happened next shows how much his father believed in him. His father took a loan, used up all their savings, and borrowed money from relatives. He said, if I spend money on my son's education, it will change his life. So with one suitcase, hope in his heart, and tears in his mother's eyes, Sundar took his first airplane ride ever from Chennai to California. Chapter 4: Life in America when Sundar reached Stanford University. Everything was different. The people, food, buildings, and teaching style were all new to him. Students walked around with headphones, drank coffee during class, and asked teachers tough questions without being afraid. At first, Sundar felt like an outsider. People spoke English very fast. He missed Indian food and his family. And when he first saw a computer with internet at Stanford, he just stared at it. He couldn't believe such amazing technology existed. But he knew this was his chance. So he studied day and night. He asked questions, took notes, and sat in the front row of every class. He learned programming, computer networks, and computer systems. While other students had fun, Sundar worked quietly. Slowly, things got better. He began to understand American culture. He made friends. His English improved and he became more confident. But he never forgot where he came from. Even though he had very little money, Sundar was careful with every dollar. Once, he couldn't buy a backpack he liked because it was too expensive. So he waited, worked part-time jobs, and bought it later. After finishing his master's degree at Stanford, Sundar wanted to work in Silicon Valley, the place where all the big tech companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Google are located, getting more education. But first, he decided to get an MBA, Master of Business Administration, from Wharton School, at the University of Pennsylvania. At Wharton, he was chosen as one of the top students in his class. Imagine this. A boy who didn't have a phone until he was 12 was now studying in classrooms where future billionaires and CEOs learned. Chapter 5: Joining Google in 2004. Sundar applied for a job at Google. At that time, Google was known for its search engine, but it wasn't as huge as it is today. Sundar prepared very hard for the interview. He studied computer systems and practiced solving problems. He knew he wasn't the best programmer, but he understood what users needed and how to make products better. On interview day, he was calm and focused. They gave him technical problems. He solved them logically. They asked about products. He gave unique ideas. When they asked, what would you improve about Google? He said, let's make the homepage simpler. Let's build tools around the search engine. Let's think bigger. He didn't just say what they wanted to hear. He said what he truly believed. And that impressed everyone. Sundar got the job. He joined as a product manager, someone who doesn't just write code, but also thinks about how to make products better for users. Chapter 6: Building Great Products. When Sundar joined Google, he was quiet while other managers were loud and tried to show off. Sundar only spoke when he had something important to say. But when he did speak, everyone listened. The Google toolbar, his first job was to work on. Google's search toolbar, a small bar that let people search Google from their web browser. It seemed like a small, unimportant job, but Sundar saw the future. He realized that if people could use Google directly from their browser, they would use Google more and other search engines less. So he worked day and night to make the toolbar better. He studied how people searched and what made their experience smooth. His focus on what users really wanted made the toolbar very successful and helped Google grow. Creating Chrome browser while working, Sundar noticed a big problem. Most people were using Internet Explorer or Firefox to browse the internet, but those browsers were slow and had many problems. He thought, why don't we build our own browser? This was a huge risk. Google was a search company, not a browser company. Many senior people said it was a bad idea. But Sundar believed that if Google controlled the browser, they could make the whole internet experience better for users. First, no one wanted to fund his idea. But Sundar didn't give up. He kept making presentations and showing prototypes. He convinced people one by one. Finally, Larry Page, Google's co-founder, believed in him and said, let's do it. That project became Google Chrome. When Chrome launched in 2008, it was clean, fast, and easy to use. People loved it. Within a few years, Chrome became the #1 browser in the world. This made Sundar a star at Google because he had a clear vision. built a strong team, took a big risk, and most importantly, put users first, leading more products after Chrome's success. Sundar worked on many other products like Google Drive, Gmail improvements, Google Maps, and Android phones. Every time he led his team with kindness and humility. He wasn't bossy. He listened to others and let people disagree with him. He created a culture of respect. His colleague said, Sundar makes you feel smart even when he's the smartest person in the room. He always asked one important question about every project. How does this help the user? That's why his projects were always successful. Chapter 7. Becoming the CEO on August 10th, 2015, something amazing happened. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the founders of Google, announced that Sundar Pichai would become the new CEO of Google. The tech world was surprised. But people inside Google weren't. They knew this day would come because Sundar wasn't just an engineer. He was a visionary, a thinker, a leader, and most importantly, a kind and respectful person. Think about it. The boy who grew up in a tiny apartment in Chennai, who had to stand in lines to use a phone, who didn't have a computer until he came to America, was now in charge of a company that controls the internet for billions of people. Leading with calm on his first day as CEO, Sundar didn't have bodyguards or big speeches. He just walked into the office with a warm smile and quiet confidence. When he met with Google's top executives, he didn't talk about money or profits first. He simply asked, what's best for our users? What can we do that truly helps the world? Being CEO of Google is like being a global leader because Google touches billions of lives every day through search. YouTube, Gmail, Maps, and Android. Every decision Sundar made would be seen and judged by people all over the world. How did he handle that pressure? Calmly and thoughtfully. He didn't panic or play politics. He did what he always did. He listened, thought deeply, and then spoke. With clarity, becoming CEO of Alphabet too in December 2019, something even bigger happened. Sundar became the CEO of Alphabet Inc., the parent company that owns Google, YouTube, self-driving cars, artificial intelligence projects, and many other futuristic technologies. Now, Sundar wasn't just responsible for Google. He was responsible for many different companies and projects all at once. It was like being the captain of 10 massive ships at the same time. But he didn't panic. He led with strategy by listening. And by keeping balance. Chapter 8, facing challenges, being a tech CEO means dealing with more than just engineers and products. You also have to deal with governments, courts, and the public. Congressional hearing in 2018. Sundar had to testify before the United States Congress. Lawmakers were worried about user privacy, whether Google was too powerful, and if search results were biased. It was a tense moment. Powerful politicians were asking him tough questions while cameras recorded everything live. Every word he said could become global news, but Sundar sat calmly. He explained Google's technology in simple words that everyone could understand. He repeated one main message: we do not manually control search results. We use algorithms, and our focus is to provide the most relevant results. He didn't argue or lose his cool. He simply educated people. This moment showed the world that Sundar wasn't just a tech expert. He was a great communicator and a voice of reason. Employee issues even inside Google. Not everything was perfect. Some employees protested certain business decisions and were upset about pay differences and diversity issues. Sundar didn't run away from these problems. He held meetings where employees could ask tough questions directly. He listened, responded, and made changes when needed. He didn't try to be just a boss. He tried to be a listener and problem-solver. Chapter 9, innovation and growth, while handling all these challenges. Sundar didn't stop focusing on innovation. Under his leadership, Google invested heavily in artificial intelligence for translation. Health, Maps, and Search Google Cloud became a major business helping companies. Managed data Android kept improving and became the most used mobile system in The world Google Pixel phones were launched and improved, he wasn't just maintaining old products. He was creating the future. Chapter 10, Staying Humble, with so much power. It's easy to forget where you came from, but Sundar never forgot his roots. Even today, he talks to students from India and around the world. He gives speeches encouraging kids from small towns to dream big. He reminds people that humility, kindness, and curiosity are more important than degrees or titles. In one interview, he said, success comes not from where you start, but from how far you're willing to go. Personal life, many people think CEOs are always working, but Sundar knows the importance of balance. He's not just a CEO, he's also a father, husband, and friend, family. Sundar is married to IIT Pichai, the same woman who supported him during college when he didn't have money to make phone calls. They have 2 children, and he makes time to be with them no matter how busy he is. Daily habits. He starts his mornings with tea and reading the newspaper. He likes to walk and think deeply. He reads books about technology, history, and human behavior. Simple living. He doesn't chase luxury. He lives in a beautiful but simple house surrounded by nature. He drives regular cars like Tesla and BMW, but doesn't show off. Hobbies. He enjoys cricket, watching sports, and sometimes cooking Indian dishes with his wife. Friends say he's the same humble Sundar they knew in college. Chapter 11, Success and Recognition. Today, Sundar Pichai is respected all over the world. He has been listed in Time magazine's 100 most influential people multiple times. World leaders want to work with him because he understands both technology and humanity. Financial success. Net worth, over $1.50 billion annual. Salary, around $240 million, including bonuses and stock. But he still drinks cutting chai, Indian tea. When he visits India and reads Tamil newspapers when he gets time still, whenever people praise him, he says, it's not about me, it's about the team. I just had good people around me. Powerful lessons from Sundar's life here are the most important lessons we can learn from Sundar. Pichai's amazing journey. 1. Your background doesn't define your future. Sundar came from a simple Indian family with no phone, no car, and no money to study abroad, but he had dreams. Where you start doesn't matter. Where you're going is what counts. 2. Always keep learning. Sundar loved learning. Even as CEO, he reads every day and listens to others. Stop scrolling social media and start growing your mind. 3. Stay humble when you rise. Sundar never became arrogant. He stayed soft-spoken, polite, and grounded. Real strength is quiet. Real greatness whispers. 4. Choose kindness over ego even when people attacked him. He never hit back with anger. He used truth and calm instead of chaos. Be kind even when it's hard. 5. Success is about being useful. Sundar's goal was never luxury. His goal was to make a difference, and he did. Don't chase money. Chase meaning. 6. Believe in your own journey. Sundar could have given up many times. When he was poor, when people doubted him, when things were hard. But he believed in himself and kept going. Even if no one believes in you, you must believe in yourself. Conclusion. Your story begins now. Sundar Pichai's story is not just about a tech leader. It's about a human soul who started with nothing and built an empire with honesty, humility, and heart. His story reminds us that you don't need to be born rich. You don't need to speak perfect English. You don't need connections. You need just one thing, a burning fire inside you to learn, grow, and never stop trying. No matter how hard life gets. Remember Sundar's journey. If a poor boy from a small house in Chennai can become the O of Google and Alphabet, then you too can achieve your dreams. The world is waiting for your story. Go now. Dream, work, grow. You could be the next person to inspire millions with your journey from nothing to everything. Remember Sundar's words. Wear your failures as a badge of honor. Failure doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are growing. Your story starts today. Make it amazing.